Alright, you've weekly dose of Amstrad Action. Staying issue number 56, May 1990. Still £1.45. It's still Britain's best-selling magazine for the CPC 46466466128. Vive la CPC! Why the French CPC revolution is great news for you. What? No cheat mode booklet? Give your newsagent a poke. Ho ho. Plus how to write a mega game. First in a series. Cheat mode 2. Order your copy now. Scrolling with your CITC chip. COBOL, Pascal, Extended Basic, all free in the double public domain. New Typins tutorials. Dr. Doom's Revenge, Castle Master, X-Out, Puffy Saga, Oriental Games. Speaking of X-Out, oof. Yeah. Take no prisoners, give no quarter, make no compromises. X-Out. Strategic underwater action. Over 50 simultaneous on-screen objects. 48 colour graphics. No, they manage that on every system. 50 pics per second scrolling. 50 pics per second, that's a way to put it. 8 levels, each 160 screens. 40 different aliens. Multi-graphic styles, including lava, fire, crystal. Buy and sell over 25 multifunctional extra weapons. Freestyle configuring of weapons and satellites. Yeah, how do you get 48 colours on a spectrum which has only got 16 colours? It's the lineup. Amstrad Action, May 1990. Front end. MC. What? You haven't heard? Reaction. Horace Bagnold of Chippenham is furious. Broadly speaking, Emma's under fire. 10 helmets on. CPC rules are laws. In France, the CPC is big. Trenton jumps on an Airbus to find out why. Dr. Doom. Can Marvel superheroes save civilization? Castle Master. What a corker it is. Cheats always prosper. At least they do with this month's Fabi cover mount. Naked Video. Champion Chip Twiddler. Conrad Besant. Again. Ooh la la. Trenton finds out what's afoot in France. X-Out. Fast, Furious and Fantastic. Oriental Games. Sting like a butterfly. Float like a bee. Make a million. Adam Waring starts you on the road of becoming a top games programmer. The Balrog makes Conan the Barbarian look like a florist. Cheat mode, Uncle Phil and his plethora of pokes. Afterthought, scurrilous gossip and unsubstantiated rumour. Yeah. First edition, the conclusion. Where has it been? You ask. God knows, we answer. Last installment in our guide to becoming a millionaire publishing magnate. French Connection. Although the CPC has at times lived in the shadow of the other 8-bit micros in this country, it's taken Europe by storm. Why? The Amstrad CPC is by far the biggest 8-bit computer in just about every European country you might care to mention. Most notably, our French friends just across the pond. Trenton went over there to get a full lowdown on just what makes the French CPC scene so huge. And you can find out for yourself on the special Gallic flavour, or should it be garlic flavoured, issue. As well as reports on all the top French software houses, there are reports on AA's counterparts across the channel, and even what it's like to be a punter in Paris. On top of that, we've totally revamped the buyer's guide in response to overwhelming demand. So get stuck in. Oh, they haven't changed it. This is still the next ad. Amscene. New light gun discovered. Distribution of L'Oréal's new West Phaser in the UK remains uncertain despite success in France. L'Oréal, the software house that brought you Squeak, has developed its own CPC-compatible light gun called the West Phaser. AA unearthed this device while on a fact-finding tour of CPC-packed France. The product was launched last Christmas and sold in droves over the holiday period. The package features a gun styled to look like an authentic six-shooter, an especially developed game of sheriffs and saloon shootouts. Included for the price of 349 francs, £35 approximately, were a set of RSXs that allowed you to build West Phaser control into your own games. L'Oréal has since released a second compendium of games entitled Crazy Shot. Virgin's territory. When Virgin launched its Magnum light gun last autumn, the interest in the product was unprecedented. AA's Win a Light Gun competition proved to be one of the most popular of the year. Such public support has already prompted the 3 new light gun compatible games, which are released this month. See Action Test for the full reviews. This follow-up software support proves that guns are no mere fad, but a new and growing sector of the gaming market. Gunning for gold. US Gold has a reciprocal agreement with L'Oréal Software, whereby the French company distributes gold software in France and US Gold distributes L'Oréal software in the UK. The only way we're lucky to see the West Phaser over here is if US Gold decides to market it in this country. We game Gold a call to find out if they plan to do so. We have no plans to distribute the West Phaser in the UK at present, a spokesperson told us. But then who knows? If enough interest is shown, we might reconsider. Well, there you have it. Send your letters, petitions, etc. to Amstrad Action and we'll pass them on to US Gold. The ball's in your court. You can make your own mind up about the games by turning to page 32, where both Crazy Shot and the original West Phaser package are on display. ACU hits trouble. Focus, the publishing company behind Amstrad Computer User magazine, is now operating under receivership following financial problems. It seems that all of Focus's titles are now up for sale, including ACU, Popular Computing Weekly, and the BBC's Clove Show magazine. The future of ACU and the other titles remains uncertain at this stage. Popular Computing Weekly, only 55p. Burning rubber. Oh. The most important machine in France? An indication of the size of the CPC market in France can be gained from the sales figures of top French software house L'Oréal. It reckons the percentages of total sales for each major format break down as follows. Amstrad CPC 48%, Atari ST 27%, IBM PC compatible 16%, Commodore Amiga 9%. Now, according to even AA's rudimentary mathematics, that means the CPC sells as many games as all other formats put together. Reasons for the format's success in France are varied. Hervé Cain of Titus thinks it's simply because the CPC is sold as a simple, complete, ready-to-go package, while other factors must undoubtedly include the much closer relationship between Amstrad and the press. The CPC's great popularity on the continent existed long before news of Amstrad's new console enhanced CPCs leaked out. Now that Amstrad's plans are becoming clear, the inevitable surge of interest in the format looks set to carry the CPC into the next century. Gold gets emotional. A new age is dawning in computer gaming. At the vanguard is emotion from US Gold. New age games are supposed to relax and intrigue at the same time. And from the demo AA has seen, we can vouch for the intrigue. We aren't so sure about the relaxation. In emotion, you must shepherd various coloured molecules around a wraparound screen using blasteroid-style ships, and getting them to collide before they go critical and explode. As you might imagine, though, things aren't that simple. If you get the same coloured balls to collide, they cancel each other out, but you get 2 different coloured balls to bash each other and they produce a third particle. And you've got just a few seconds to collect it before it transforms into a valuable energy pod from a valuable energy pod into another horrible full-sized ball. It's one of those games that takes a little while to learn, but really puts the hook in once you understand what the heck's going on. A revolutionary concept you, quite literally, haven't seen a game like it, and AA will have the full review next month. It's often been said that computer games are only any good when they feature guns and violence, all spiced up with a bit of titillation on the box. Emotion looks set to change that, as there's not a gun or girl in sight, and it still looks brilliant. Stunningly simple but massively addictive. ECT, etc., etc. The European Computer Trade Show, 1st to 2nd of April, is the spring shop window for games and all manner of computer goodies. The first such show last year was a great success, with previews and releases galore as companies fought to grab the industry limelight. Everybody who is anybody will be there for the software spectacular, so that means AA too. And we'll bring you all the news as soon as possible. Already lined for preview release Manchester United by Chrysalis, Rogue Trooper by Chrysalis, that's a re-release, Stormlord 2 Stormlord 2 Deliverance by Hewson, Yogi's Great Escape by Hightech, Hong Kong Fooey No. 1 Super Guy by Hightech, Laws of Chaos by Bladesoft, Fire and Forget 2 by Titus, and Pipe Mania by Empire. So the summer looks set to be a hot one. Also of interest to games-minded folk are the European Computer Leisure Awards. As mentioned last issue, the national votes are now in, and these decisions have been put forward to a panel of European judges. The UK's results were as follows. Best Sound, Ghouls and Ghosts, US Gold. Best Action Game, Batman, Ocean. Best Arcade Conversion, Strider, US Gold. Most Original Game, Stunt Car Racer, Microprose. Best Flight Sim, F-16 Combat Pilot, Digital Integration. Best Sports Sim, Kickoff, Anko. New title with the most chart potential, Rainbow Islands, Ocean. Software Publisher of the Year, Microprose. Game of the Year, Kickoff, Anko. These awards were decided by the staff of AA, your Sinclair, New Computer Express, Amiga format, and ST format, and reflect games that were outstanding across all formats, which may help explain some of the apparent anachronisms. Sonic Attack. From Activision, the company that brought you Afterburner, comes the latest high-tech airborne blast, Sonic Boom. Based on the Sega arcade game, this baby is a vertically scrolling rip snort of a shoot-'em-up. Low on the IQ level there may be, but it's high on the action stakes. As a mild-mannered pilot going about his business, he must fly over a number of hostile countries, destroying armies and the territory's economic infrastructure. You get the chance to blow up huge oil terminals in the Middle East and trash trains in America. That's the way to do it, Ed. The flight log will be ready for inspection next month. World Cup Carnival. Oh no. As the teams limber up for the World Cup finals in Italy this summer, that's a football tournament, Rod. The software houses are drawing up their squads too. First into the fray was Virgin with World Cup Soccer 90. Its game will have a host of new features, including close-up goal-mouth views to aid both strikers and goalies. More teams are expected to be announced soon by US Gold and the other top software sides. Hewson go forth. Hewson, purveyor of quality software since the year dot, has prepared a new compilation for your delight and delectation. Fourth dimension features, you've guessed it, 4 games, 3 of which are brand new, previously unreleased titles. Battle Valley, Robotics, Anarchy, and Super Cup are the games. And they should be hitting a shop near you soon. Bearing in mind the past Hewson successors, Stormlord, Cybernoid 1 and 2, Nebulous, etc., it should be worth the wait. Battle Valley, part of the 4th dimension. PC to CPC file transfer, the latest. The latest. Remember the item we printed in AMScene AA54 about the new Siren utility for reading and writing to PC format disks? I bet you're wondering what happened to it, aren't you? Well, the latest news from Siren is that the program is finished and going on sale even as we speak. Look out for the full review in AA soon. In the meantime, PD Library, an all-round good deal merchant Waki, has uncovered a stonking little utility from north of the border. A multi-file utility lets users transfer files from IBM PCs, BBCs, and a whole host of other highly esoteric formats. The program was first written some 3 years ago by Moonstone Software in Scotland, but has since drifted into obscurity until rediscovered by Waki. Moonstone have moved on into the world of PCW now, boo hiss, but have agreed to let Waki distribute the CPC version of MFU. Price will be in the region of £35 to £40, which sounds pretty hefty until you find out what's included. MFU is more than just a file transfer program, containing as it does such additional goodies as a disk sector editor, quite funky, a tech-ed Adam Waring, as you get a 100-page manual which not only tells you how to use the program, but gives you a detailed rundown on disk theory as well. We'll be reading the review just as soon as we can get our hands on a copy. Read those PC disks with 2 new utilities. Look, no wires! Joystick Giants Spectra Video are launching a brand new joystick that works by infrared. It's true, the Spectra Video IR works just like a TV or video remote control, sending infrared signals to a receiver. In this case, a control box plugged into the back of the CPC. The great advantage is, of course, that you don't have wires trailing all over the place. In addition, Spectra Video claims that the joystick will work at a range of up to 30 feet, and that you can even play games while walking around the room. The only problem is the price. At £39.95, the Spectra Video IR infrared is about 4 times the price of conventional wagglers. But then, if it means you can lounge in your favourite armchair instead of being hunched up in front of the screen, it could be a bargain. It also looks sober enough to make all the other kids on the block go green with envy. No strings attached. British Music Fair sounds good. CPC musicians who have been following James Pinto's series on MIDI should take themselves along to the British Music Fair 1990, being held at Olympia, London, between the 17th and 22nd of July. Exhibitors include Casio, Kawai, Roland, and Yamaha, as well as many, many more covering the entire music industry. And if you can't make it to London on those dates, the show will be at GMX Manchester between the 5th and 7th of October. All's fair. Did anyone manage to get along to the first All Formats Computer Fair on the 10th of February at the new Horticultural Hall? Apparently several thousand keen computer users did, and the event was judged such a success by the organisers, there's going to be another one. The next AFCF will be held over the weekend of the 28th and 29th of April, as well as offering bargains galore for visitors. The fair looks a good deal for potential exhibitors too, with stands going for as little as £120 each. The new Horticultural Hall is in Greycoat Street near London's Victoria Station. Knits in Shining Armour. Incentive and Domark are taking their new game, Castle Master game this issue, in a little seriously, we think. See accompanying photo. Ian Andrew was straight on the phone as soon as we found out we had the picture, though. He explained that he'd never done anything like that before. Honest, my lord. That the picture was taken in Fulham Palace Church, that the knights' costumes came from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and that the princess's frock was actually Mark Strahan's nightie. He also reckoned that the shot was taken to celebrate the launch of Castle Masters. Strange, he made the whole thing sound almost plausible. Just another day at the office full of Domark and incentive boys. New fanzine. Review is a newly launched CPC fanzine, the brainchild of a certain Mr. Simon Williams of Hednesford in Staffordshire. The magazine will include a news section, letters, machine code, help, technical tips, games and serious reviews, adventures and hardware projects, as well as articles on a range of subjects. Price will be 50p plus postage, and the first issue, which should be rolling off the presses about now. Waki, unbeatable value, unbeatable service. Reaction. Another bulging mailbag spills out over the Ed's desk. Oh, someone found a manual. CPCers unite. I'm sure most CPC users have heard the phrase, my 6128 is better than your 464, but really all we're doing is arguing amongst ourselves. Shouldn't we instead be united? After all, we are all Amstrad users. But what about the consequences of dropping the 464? Well, the 464 itself serves as a low-cost entry into the computer world, as not all of us can afford a 6128 straight away. If we didn't have this low-cost entry, surely the Spectrums and Commodores would take over. Well, almost. The 6128 is slightly expensive. I'm glad that, over Christmas, Amstrad realised the potential of the CPC. But what on earth possessed Amstrad to advertise the Spectrum on television but the CPC in the press? I'm sure that the CPC is about 1,000 years ahead of the Spectrum in terms of sound and graphics. Anyway, on the subject of the 464-6128 divide, what if Amstrad dropped the 6128? As most AA readers know, the 6128 can be used for almost anything from running a small business to controlling a space station. Well, on the same lines, anyway. And will continue to be used as it has excellent business software and word processors available for it. But to put it in simpler terms, the 464 needs the 6128 to survive. The 6118 needs the 464 to survive, in my opinion anyway. And is original software becoming a thing of the past? We've all seen budget versions of hits from yesteryear and compilations compiled from these. Even though they are excellent ways to buy games that you maybe missed the first time round, it is a bit unoriginal. I've nothing against these games, as I sometimes buy them myself, but I think they are pushing original budget software out of the chute. It also means, in theory, that there would be a slight drop in full price sales as people wait until they are released at the $2.99 sector. I think, however, that most people enjoy an original release every now and again. I'm also patient with the quality of CPC software lately, as more and more programmers begin to make full use of the CPC. Keep up the good work at AA, as I think it's a professionally put together magazine, which is more than I can say for others. Simon Lee, Newcastle upon Tyne. Your argument that the 464 and 6128 need each other is a very good one. Certainly, there must be many 6128 owners out there who'd never have bought their machines if they hadn't got into CPCs with 464 first. And when the new machines come out in September, if, as the reports suggest, they both come equipped with a cartridge port, then the ROM-shaped software will run equally well on both machines, regarding the differences in their memory capacities. The 464 will be the poor relation no more. Oh boy, whole page-size letter. A man's world, or is it? Alright, it's been said before, but it does need reiterating. Why no female images in the magazine? I understand photographs of individuals are usually male, but being the brains behind the programs, etc., but the graphic images, as in AA Goes Online, March 90 issue, all features small boys with their keyboards. My 9-year-old daughter, upon seeing this, immediately asked if girls can't do computing, which is rather ironic, as she is the one who uses 6128 the most. I know that this is a male-dominated industry. However, this should not be reinforced by unthoughtful images. A female image is in a thoughtful role, not just as a victim in a game, but as a user of computers, would help countless women/girls in the role play. There are many female readers of your magazine who would be very grateful if you could broaden your ideas regarding them. No, I'm not a militant feminist, just a mother trying to raise 2 children, one of each sex, and to give to them the full confidence that they can enter any field they choose, not just the traditional ones which have been deemed fitting to their sex. I hope this letter will provoke some reaction. Hilary Slayman, London. Guilty as charged. The accused and their defence point to their magazine's role as a reflection of the readership's nature, but also accept their responsibility as agents of social change. They also wish for 12,632 similar offences to be taken into account. Fair enough, they were all lads, weren't they? The trouble is, we get so little correspondence from female readers, it's tempting to think that there aren't any at all. So write in. I mean, is there anyone out there? A series for beginners, please. After getting my first computer for just under a year, I found that the manual for the 6128 very puzzling and hard to understand. Come on, help me out. I really want to get into computers by starting on the 6128. Why put a load of rubbish that no one can understand in manuals? Please help with clear explanations on words, commands, etc. by putting a beginner's section in your Brill magazine. I mean, how did all these people get to understand it and do wonders on their computers? It would be really nice to place that section so that others can program things too. I really, really want to do something that works on the Amstrad, hacking and all that. You were a beginner once, remember, about 40 years ago? Sorry, my mistake. When are you going to put a new section in? Because I haven't been buying AA for very long and there is nothing for beginners. Okay, we get the picture. Anyone else out there think we ought to run a series for beginners? Just write in and tell us, and who knows, if we get enough letters, we might just go ahead and do it. Oh no, he's back. Complaining about complaints. I'm writing, not for the first time, on a subject that editors of computer magazines seem bent on ignoring, including your predecessor. We are all familiar with the not infrequent letters of complaint against the software house or hardware supplier, all of it, if I do not doubt, fully justified, if my experiences are anything. To go by letters of praise, however, appear to be conspicuous by their absence. As I have written several times in this vein, without a single word appearing in print, the subject is obviously considered irrelevant and unimportant. Not controversial enough, perhaps, unlike some of my previous correspondence. So, for the benefit of fellow consumers and good suppliers alike, I am going to offer, yet again, names of firms worthy of the highest possible accolade, a WACCS shield of honest endeavour, made from the finest quality organic tissue paper and biodegradable plasticine, no expense spared. They are given in no particular order of preference. K&M Computers, run by Ken and Margaret Fairhurst, a solidly reliable, warm-hearted and family-friendly firm that falls over its collective feet to satisfy its customers. US Gold, a company that solved a problem for me with extreme alacrity and generosity above and beyond the call of duty. Accolade, as US Gold, this firm was swift to respond through the good offices of one Matthew Sproul. So swift, in fact, I received the package by first post the very next day following my telephone call. After a second phone call, I received another package. The problem continues, but I'm confident in their ability to sort it out eventually. Microstyle, this firm, run by none other than your own Phil Craven, has suffered from a certain amount of published adverse comment on the small matter of delivery. While I concede a little patience may sometimes be necessary, it can at least rely on Phil to come up with the goods in the end. I have found him to be friendly, cooperative, and ever ready to help out to the best of his not inconsiderable abilities. What more can you ask for? One word of warning, however, he is an engaging conversationalist to the delight of British Telecom. Just make sure the ball or bill is not in your court at the time. Nemesis, Colin Harris, the proprietor, is an absolute boon. He has never refused to tackle anything I've thrown his way, and he usually succeeds. Rob Baxter, not strictly speaking the company, but I include this gentleman for a very good reason. If some of your readers who possess Rainbird's advanced music system have not heard of Rob, then it is about time they remedied the situation. An acknowledged expert on the system, his advice is always invaluable, and he is ever happy to help sort out any entanglements one might experience. Furthermore, he has brilliantly transcribed for the CPC an enviable number of classical works, so which should be a must for any self-respecting AMS owner. There you have it. The fact that some of these people originally total strangers to me, have now become friends on Christian name terms, speaks for itself. I can wholeheartedly recommend any or all of the above mentioned companies or individuals for service that is exemplary. If this letter is published, I will have returned good for good, and hopefully some of your readers will have cause to thank you. W.M. A.C.C. Smith from Windsor. We'd print more letters of praise if more people wrote them. Okay. I want to write games. Would you please supply me with the information to help me create my own computer game? I've been looking in the shops for computer games to play on my 464 and notice the game's graphics. If I were to design and produce a video game, I would like the graphics to be number one. I would also like the Sonics to be number one as well, and be heard clearly. So please, could you tell me how to produce my own computer game? Drew Richardson, Here Eyes, East Kilbride. Are we psychic or what? Just turn to page 32 of this issue for the first installment of our exclusive definitive AA guide to producing your own mega game. Sideways Scroller. About 4 minutes 22 seconds ago, I had an amazing idea that will revolutionize the games world. It will make me millions of quid in royalties, and I'll become famous overnight. Well, it might be a slight exaggeration, but here it is. Why don't the games manufacturers write games sideways? Then all you have to do is turn the screen on its side, and you have a much taller playing area to use. It would have to be clearly stated that it was a sideways game on the packet, but it wouldn't be too awkward. It would have enhanced games such as R-Type, Ghostbusters 2, First Level, etc. The joystick movements could easily be changed to suit. R-Type's not a vertical game. Anyway, the joystick movements could be easy. What do you think? Tom Kennedy, Exeter. We think you're mad. Anyway, how do you know you're not going to nick your idea, pretend it's ours, and rake in the millions of quid ourselves? Come to think of it. What a wonderful idea. What vertical format games are for monitors on their sides? I think there's probably a good reason why they don't do that. That woman. Broadly speaking, Emma Broadly gets excited over the new CPCs and gets some flack over the hasty comments. Yeah, that was the same as last time. Barbaric sequel. I see that Barbarian 3 is shortly to hit the streets. I suppose we'll have to wait and see whether Palace uses the ridiculous Maria Whittaker to sell the game again. Mind you, she's not as ridiculous as the people who think up these bits of artwork, or for that matter, the people who are swayed by it. I'm not arguing the case on feminist grounds either. I think it's more of an intellectual problem, the burgeoning of the Sun mentality, whereby publishers cater to the lowest common denominator and let the rest look after themselves. Then again, the Sun is probably the best-selling newspaper in the country, so you could argue that it's hit the perfect formula. On the other hand, you could also argue that the great British public is being brainwashed by mindless titillation. It would be a shame if that mindless titillation took over the computer industry too. Chatting to Trenton just the other day, I was struck by how differently Amstrad has treated the French market to its domestic one. In particular, Amstrad France has supported the leading French CPC magazine, Amstrad Cent pour Cent, right from the start, and the benefits are plain to see. Only is the CPC right up there as the leading games computer in the country, Amstrad itself has a far more up-to-date and hip image, largely through association with the magazine. So what went wrong over here? Most people's image of Amstrad over here is of a rather aloof, uncaring organisation that seems to barely tolerate the CPC rather than actively promote it. By contrast, Amstrad in France is a much higher profile and much happier organisation. It's represented by an omnipresent crocodile, toothfully grinning away at its readers in half a dozen pages of France's top CPC mag. Amazingly, in France, Amstrad is trendy. Really, looking closely at the French market, it's hard to imagine that their CPC machine is the same as ours, but it is. The difference between the markets is, I suspect, nothing to do with the CPC at all, but with the Sinclair Spectrum. For whatever reason, Amstrad has decided to push that old machine to the fore in the UK at the expense of the CPC. It could be that Amstrad has in the past made heavy financial commitments to the Spectrum, or that it generally believes the Spectrum is a better entry-level home computer. Either way, the French experience only serves to demonstrate that the CPC could have been over on our side of the channel if only Amstrad had done things differently. It's a sad loss for us UK users, and it may well prove a sad loss for Amstrad too. Rot sets in. Talking about the CPC, I've got to stick my oar in again about Amstrad's console plans. Now I realise most people in the industry think that consoles are the coming thing, but surely they're in danger of forgetting about the traditional home enthusiast. Consoles are strictly one-way things. There's no learning, no interaction with the hardware, none of the suck it and see learning excitement that I associate with my early computing days. On the broader side, Amstrad would do well to remember that it launched the CPC as a business leisure machine. If Amstrad starts touting the CPC purely as a games machine, it's going to lose a lot of faithful adherents. More importantly, it might lose the support of those few software houses still producing quality serious programs. I'm all for introducing computers to as many homes and countries as possible, but not simply as dumb entertainment devices with no other purpose. Incentive to change. Just how long is incentive going to milk Freescape for, I wonder? I don't mean any disrespect to Ian Andrew, who is one of the nicest of all industry figures, but, well, the whole thing is getting a little long in the tooth now. For my money, Driller was the classic Freescape game, only surpassed by the extra atmosphere and speed of Total Eclipse. To my mind, Castle Master, I've been playing it off and on for the past week now, is really a step backwards. Freescape was a commendable technical achievement in its day, but looks just the same now, and surely castles and dungeons have had their day. And talking of things having had their day, what on earth happened to the budget market? All we ever seem to see these days are re-releases of old full-price games. In my book, that's nothing but a swizz. If nothing else, people who bought games at the full price are going to find they could have got them for a quarter of the price if they'd waited. And I remember the time when the budget market was full of innovative original product. Some of the generally bad, admittedly. Some was generally bad, admittedly, but there was a lot of good stuff too. Much of it worthy of full price release, though of course publishers can be notoriously hard to convince that a genuinely new and original idea is worth the risk. There are a lot of good, talented programmers out there who are never going to get a look in, simply because budget houses are now content to churn out repackaged oldies instead of promoting original product. Hopping mad, yet another budget re-release of an old game. End of an era. Who is this Broadley woman, and what is she doing writing in your magazine? Asked Mr. P. Booth of Cheltenham. She is boring, opinionated, and totally out of touch with the readership. Oh, nothing against Mrs. Broadley personally, claims Ray Baxter of Durham. But all she ever seems to do is rehash the old arguments. I mean, we've heard it all before. Get rid of Emma Broadley, bellows Erica Vaughan of London, quite simply. Well, are you all expecting me to blow my top? No. I think maybe the time has come for me to bow out. I've been doing this column for long enough, I think. Rod's still trying to talk me out of it, but for now I'll be handing over my page to some other worthy cause. It's been fascinating reading your mail, both good and bad, and fascinating too gaining an insight into the world of magazine publishing. And who knows, maybe I'll be back one day. But for now, ciao. Yeah, there's no more of that now. No more of that woman. Can you handle it? The biz. The greatest compilation ever! Ever! Nothing better than this. French special! In France, CPC games sell as many copies as all other formats put together. That's what the figures from Le Reciel said. Surely some mistake. So we asked Amstrad cent per cent. CPC, get it? And it's circulation, and we're stunned to find it regularly sells 50,000 copies a month. It had to be a mirage. Surely the CPC couldn't be that big over there. But then Ubisoft's big break in games came with Fur et Flamme, a game only ever released on the CPC. Our information couldn't be right, could it? We decided to check it out, asking all these major players and more besides what lay behind this French computing revolution. They had only one name on their lips, Amstrad. The figures are impressive, really impressive, so wildly different from the UK's that at first they're hard to believe. Last year alone, 110,000 CPCs were eagerly grabbed from the shelves by French computing fans, and over the years in excess of 650,000 machines have found their way into hearts, minds, and homes throughout the country, earning the CPC in France the kudos and clout it so rightly deserves. Indeed, in excess of 50% of all games sold are CPC format, 80% of those being on disc, which leaves Amigas, STs, C64s, Spickies, and PCs alike trailing in its wake. Why me? So why has the CPC taken such a stranglehold in France? After all, in Britain, it's been outplayed by computers of inferior spec and outsold by machines of higher price. The CPC was successful here in France because it was a simple computer to use, explained Herb Kane of Titus. You had one plug and 3 wires, whereas the C64 had almost 10 cables. The CPC had everything, even a built-in tapeable disk drive, by far the best concept. It was a brilliant computer to sell to people who didn't know anything about computing. This user-friendliness, though, is only part of the story. When the computing boom began, France was dominated by the Thomson, a native machine that had since faded away. It was never sold outside France and was incompatible with other machines used by European enthusiasts. Meanwhile, Sinclair stood no chance of launching the Spectrum in France, lacking the necessary expertise or finances to build up an international distribution network. Commodore C64 had a troubled time and was never pushed effectively in France. The field was thus clear for Amstrad and the CPC to make their mark. The French were ready for a strong computer that doubled as a colourful and adaptable games machine. Amstrad France rapidly built a solid team of marketing and sales people, and the rest, as they say, is history. The machine made possible the rapid growth of software houses, which were now no longer starved of export opportunity. The French software scene that grew up did, however, exhibit disturbing signs of sanity. It stuck to the CPC, refusing to be led astray by market gossip, following its instincts instead of fickle computing fashions. 3 years ago, when we were really just getting into our stride, the other software houses said, "Don't do any CPC games," recalls Eric Kane of Titus. Now the market's only for the US Golds and Oceans. The CPC market is finished. You must work on STs and Amigas. We thought, why? It's a giant hardware base all over France, and we knew we could create better games than had been done in the past, so we'd try it. The CPC market is dead. You must work on ST and Amigas. We thought, why? Crazy sales too. The instincts were proved right with Crazy Cars 1 and 2. Crazy Cars was massive, and is still massive on the Hit Squad label. In France alone, with Crazy Cars 2, we have sold 42,000 units on the CPC. I think it's the biggest seller ever for the format. A strong enough indicator in itself, Eric felt, that the 8-bits were just getting started. With support like this from all the big guns in France, the machine just carried on growing, and its software base got better and better. Eric went on. There has been a war now for nearly 3 years, with people saying 16-bit will kill out 8-bit. Amstrad are going to have to launch a 68K machine. They'll lose their market. This is true in Germany, but not in the UK, where the Spectrum is the strongest machine. In France, our Spectrum is the CPC. On the game. French games are typified by innovative and high-quality coding. Think France, and what's the answer? Purple Saturday, with its mind-blowing graphics. Titus's super smooth scrolling Crazy Cars 2's overscanned intro screen. Squeak's perfect blend of cute graphics and evil gameplay. All examples of French software that crossed the waters just last year. They are, however, the tip of the iceberg compared with the vast number of home market products that we never see. The vast user base in France means that there's a huge pool of technical talent on tap when it comes to breaking down the barriers of programming. For example, last Christmas, while Virgin was touting the light gun in the UK, a totally different gun was being marketed by L'Oreal, one that allowed you to write your own interactive games. French software publishers, while not short on originality, do seem rather lacking on the numbers front. They are subtly different, too, in their reliance on original product instead of the staple British fare of licenses. Different forces explain these quirks. L'Oreal feels the reason the UK has seen so few of its games is that we have many products that wouldn't fit into your market. The English aren't into shoot-em-ups very much anymore, but the French market is very much more arcade-oriented. We design first the French market for the French market, then, if it fits in, we'll export it. Squeak, a Logiciel game, is a prime example of a game that fitted. French Adventure. Amstrad Cent%, France's leading CPC magazine, sees it somewhat differently, though, as editor Pierre Valls told us. French games are more adventure arcades that, like Captain Blood, Defender of the Crown, Iron Lord, while on the English side it's more shoot-em-ups. English game designers think more about the playability than their French counterparts. The French software houses, however, like Titus, are more inventive, with techniques like their overscanned screens, good graphics, good programming. The French are more creative. They don't have the same size staff as in the UK. They only release 1 or 2 products a year, and not 20 or 30 for all formats. The above opinions explain the nature of French games, but they do not explain the shortage of software houses. There are only a few principal players on the French scene: Titus, Ubisoft, Logiciel, Infogrames, and the slowly emerging Cocktail Vision. The reason for the smaller number of games companies in France, explains Titus's Herve Kane, is that we are only now starting to be a big enough market, and it's a very protected market. There's no budget market here, no market for weaker titles. If you don't have strong marketing or a product that catches the people's imagination, they just won't sell. Indeed, it's the lack of a budget market that seems to have delayed the British-style explosion in the number of smaller, successful software publishers. Without this area, it would not have been possible for the likes of Codemasters to even consider starting their own company. Thus, the stakes are higher, which generally means fewer, but frequently higher quality games than the plethora of releases witnessed here in the UK. Hit-making in France is imperative. Common market. The markets are very, very protected by distributors' chains. Advertising is very expensive in the magazines. Promotion is a lot more expensive than in the UK. And because the market's smaller, you've got no choice. You've got to have a success. The relative youth of the industry also explains why, in France at least, software isn't following the license trail. Licenses are no good. Licenses are good because even without a disc in the box, it will sell. When the Batmans and Outruns are released, there's less overall risk for them. It's more of a financial risk, but less of a success risk. You can be sure Chase HQ will always sell. It's harder to do a program that comes from nowhere and harder to do the creative work, but we prefer it that way. That's Titus's approach, and it typifies the overall French software perspective. Until recently, the French games industry lacked the financial resources to even consider buying licenses. Now that some software houses are in a position to do so, though, they still prefer to spend money on development time and a famous name to stick on the outside of the box. Discussion. The lifeblood of the CPC and the major reason for the success of the machine has to be the users, who not only supply the games machine with a steady supply of programmers who will buy all the hard and software too. With 80% of the games now sold on disc in France, this points to a huge number of 464 owners who have upgraded their machine at least to disk drive standard. Amstrad Cent% understands that most of its readers too have worked their systems up to colour. And the main computing interest across the channel is in gaming. Technical and serious users are far from ignored. Take discology, for example, but are definitely secondary to those who use the CPC as a tool for leisure. Cent%'s success and games page count demonstrate the trend. It was born as a magazine to bring humour into a market that had become increasingly techy, and its sales steadily climbed as the games grabbed the limelight. The users themselves are very different to those in the UK. User groups are not very dynamic here, but in France, what is important on Amstrad is fanzines. We receive about 3 new fanzines a month. We have a big collection. They thrive in France. It's very important. Cent% again. These fanzines tend to sing the praises of the games and are filled with games, hints, and tips rather than the intricacies of machine code or the wonders of an RSX. Pirate clans. The degree of communication between users, however, has led to one small problem. It's the same one that's been plaguing Britain recently: piracy. In France, all the software houses are fighting it. We have lots of lawsuits against people and organised piracy in France. It's very developed here, and there's even been mail order catalogues. We caught one guy and he had a real organisation, all the most recent software, and was selling it at very high prices. After the lawsuit, he even asked one of the companies, as he owed them so much money and knew everything about protection, whether they could hire him to pay off the debt and give them hints. This is just one of many examples software house Loriciel was aware of. The major problem we've got in France is piracy, exclaimed Titus's Herve Kane. It's amazing. We try to arrange meetings with pirate groups to talk to them. They say, you are making money and we don't have enough to buy your games, so we just hack them. We reply that they are starving the games companies of money and that maybe they'll work in the games industry one day, and they reply, it's tomorrow, we don't care. Piracy, it seems, is an international problem. The CBC has survived better in France than in Britain, but why? Again, the responsibilities with the users of the machine in France and their powerful financial clout, Pierre Vales of Amstrad CPC threw some light on the subject, identifying Amstrad France as much more publicly responsive than its British counterpart. In France, like England, they stopped advertising the CPC in favour of the PC, but here they rapidly realised that as a mistake, Amstrad France were trying to change their... God, there's a fifth page. Image towards a more professional one. So they stopped advertising the games side and home computer side of the CPC. But 3 months after, they realised it was a mistake and came back to the gamer's image, and will continue to do this with the future machine, the new CPC. I think we'll move on from this. This is long. Programmers and graphic artists. We are looking for experienced programmers and graphics artists to join our in-house development team. If you have a successful track record on product development or on any of the following systems, then we'd like to hear from you. Atari ST, Amiga, IBM PC, Amstrad CPC, Spectrum C64. Digital integration. Forum, no problem too great, no question too daft, no stone unturned. Adam's your man. Oh no, Vorsprung Technique, probably. Oh no, it's entirely in Dutch. Does anyone know anything about A, Danish dip switch settings, B, Danish character sets, C, Danish? Danish. That's not Dutch, is it? Danish. Well, please try and sort out this problem for me. If I type 10 call BCF 20 call BCF2, I get syntax error in line 61216, which reads that. What does it all mean? I'm going out of my head with worry with this one. James Barker, Chudworth, South Yorks. Well, Jim, you're calling a couple of firmware routines that should only be accessed from machine code. The routines which require certain registers and to contain certain values impossible to do from BASIC, hence it is acting on garbage. As the old computer adage goes, garbage in, garbage out. And really, if really that worried about the results, then don't do the calls. However, it isn't going to hurt your CPC. Coded disks. I'm 14 and I enjoy computer programming, but this problem draws the line. I've been trying to find out how these big companies made their disk protection on some of their games. When you type cat or dir, the screen clears and produces a fancy name and tells you how to run the game, not showing you any files. Please, could you help me? Because I would like to do the same on some of my disks. DJ Williams, Camberley, Surrey. The effect is produced by the disk containing strange control codes in the directory area. When the computer attempts to catalogue the disk, it tries to print these codes, which has the effect of clearing the screen and changing colours. There's still files in the disk, but the computer doesn't actually get round to printing them on screen. Make your own t-shirts. Ooh. Cracking the code. Muddled by machine code, hung up on hex, all your machine code queries answered in strictest confidence, of course. Simply write to cracking the code. Sorry we can't reply personally. We can only print answers in the mag. Oh look, sorcery. A shape of things to come. I must say that I have only one grumble about my 464. The shape. If you look at most of the other 8 and 16 bits, you'll notice the one major difference between them and the CPC. Their cases are sleek and streamlined. Call the Spectrum sleek and streamlined? And they don't have bright red and green keys. I'm talking about the 464. Even the C64 and the Spectrum have smooth cases. The C64's being the smoother. The only thing dated about the 464 is the shape. Are there any alternative cases or plug-in keyboards as you have for the other 8 bits? Speedball is a fantastic 16-bit game. My brother has it for his ST and it's excellent. So why isn't it available for the world's greatest compy? I've seen the PC graphics, 4 colours, so they shouldn't be a problem, okay? So it'll be a bit slower, but we don't mind. I'd rather play on the CPC. Jeremy Tumnus Graham, Newcastle upon Tyne. When the CPC first came out, the chunky look was quite trendy. Pity you can't say the same nowadays. Ugly or what? Mind you, the Commodore 64 first came out looking like a prop from a 50s sci-fi movie. And as for the Spectrum, well, it was alright if you had upgraded from a calculator. Since being launched, though, both those machines have been restyled. Perhaps the CPC's time will come with the new cartridge-based machines reported in last issue, AA55. As far as I know, there aren't any replacement cases for the 464. Microsoft says that it doesn't have any plans to convert Speedball to the CPC. Then again, that's what they said about Xenon. Cheat Mode 2. At last, the moment you've all been waiting for. Cheat Mode 2 is here. 130 pages, crammed to bursting point, with completely crucial games playing low down on 3 years worth of CPC classics. And boy, was it worth the wait. Order form. Yes, please. Send the following right away. Tick the appropriate box. Copy of copies of the indescribably spiffing Cheat Mode 2. Remember to add £1.45 for P&P. Copies of the even more fabulous Cheat Mode 2 plus tapes. You haven't forgotten the £1.45 P&P, have you? Top quality games. The Hit Squad. Available for Spectrum, Commodore, Amstrad. £2.99 each. Small ads. Naked video. Scroll on, groan. Conrad Besant gets into some heavy screen shifting with that super versatile CRTC chip. The hardware method. The software method. Interlace and skew register. Ooh, fancy. Next time we'll take a detailed look at how to create multi-mode screens using the video gate array. Super smooth scrolling is easy with the CRTC chip. Writing games. Blockbuster. Who wants to be a programmer? More money than you know what to do with. A new Porsche every week. Luxury timeshare apartment in Benidorm. Ah, that'd be the life. Mind you, there is that small matter of selling a blockbusting game in the first place. Adam Waring explains. Learning the hard way. You'll need to be reasonably competent in machine code before embarking on your first project, but you don't have to be an expert. A great deal is learned in the process of writing your first major program. This is the way that the vast majority of coders learn their trade, by practice. There is no training course for writing games, and practically everyone in the games industry is self-taught. There must be thousands of unpublished programs out there, though, so don't be too disheartened if your first product comes to nothing. It will serve as an invaluable lesson. Even AA's esteemed technical editor's first game came back firmly impressed with the reject stamp rare limited editions of the Ghastly Labyrinth of Saturn, now available for only $9.95 from Waring Enterprises. Order yours today! Trans-Europe Express Access. Roll on 1992. Here's 3 whole pages of some of the mouth-watering releases those lucky Europeans will be getting their sweaty mitts on over the next few months. And what about us poor blighters in the UK? Well, some of these releases may be making a trip across the channel. Pinball Magic. Pinball Magic from Lurciel plays like a certain deaf, dumb and blind kid who answers to the name of Tommy. With 12 different tables and a rolling credits feature, it's a toughie but a goodie. It's got all the buzzers and bells pin tables fans could wish for, as well as a particularly brilliant breakout style table. Iron Lord. First previewed back on AA41. Iron Lord is by Ubisoft, a massive adventure arcade. It will be hopping on a cross-channel ferry any day now. The story focuses upon a dishonoured son trying to recapture his title and lands. Roaming the fiefdom, you must build an army of loyal supporters, gather cash, negotiate mazes, survive assassination attempts, display your skill at archery, and then top the evil uncle. The game's so big it needs 2 discs, and even then, there was barely room for the music. Squeaky Clean. Loriciel is a company noted in England for one game, and what a game it was. Squeak. The fiendishly cute but devilishly hard game was a smash hit last summer, but Loriciel has been active a lot longer than that on its home ground. It began as a coding duo that now grown to fill 2 offices and a room full of programmers. It made its name with games like Turbo Cup, distributed by Elite in the UK, but is set to make a major move on the British market this summer under the guidance of US Gold. For a taste of the forthcoming goodies, grab a look at pages 32 to 33. Twin World. Trying to recover a magic amulet from the evil Lord Maldur ain't easy, as you'll discover in Twin World by Ubisoft. In this platform arcade, you have the unenviable task of dodging monsters and traps in a bid to save your people from tyranny. Cute is the name of the game, which features beautiful backdrops and great tunes. Night Hunter. Betty or what? In Ubisoft's Night Hunter, you don't play the hero but the villain, Count Dracula, on the hunt for a midnight snack. Blending humour with a neat nightmare sensibility, you control the Count as he roams about as a bat werewolf human. You must find a route through his gothic castle, keeping the energy levels high by drinking people's blood. Crazy Shot. God, I can't even read that. It's a compilation of light gun games. Yeah, happy. West Phaser. This is a game written especially for use with Loriciel's West Phaser light gun. This was in fact one of 3 light guns doing the rounds last Christmas. The West Phaser, Virgin's Magnum, and some Spanish Gunstick. Loriciel designed its blast with a real gun look and has a hammer action. The company worked with the Western look that resembles a Colt 45 Peacemaker in with the game, and you can go on from shooting it out with gunslingers in saloon to mineshaft battles where you have to be careful not to hit the dynamite. One rather unique feature of the system is that it gives you the ability to design your own games using the phaser. It's still being decided whether the West Phaser will be introduced over here, but AA has one in its possession and it's brilliant. The gun's accurate, it sounds good, a real nice shot effect, and the software, while simple in concept, is complex in design. Let's hope that the powers that be see fit to let them flood in. Virgin territory. Virgin Loisirs, Virgin France, or us Brits, was understandably crowing over its recent coup. It captured the programming team behind People's Saturday and now has them working on its new Cryo label. As well as employing people who know one end of a keyboard from another, the label seeks to create new age computer games. These are games that are at once both challenging and fun, blending technology with the visions of the future. If they can help to recapture some of the magic that was People's Saturday, then they'll be on to a winner. This is not to say that the company hasn't been busy. Recently it scooped the rewards at Amstrad 10% Bash for its Double Dragon conversion. It's also had its hands full with minor details like looking after the light gun sales, the Sega license, and the new megastore to contend with. All in all, Virgin is set to be a major force in the French market over the next few years. Hopefully they're referring to the other version of Double Dragon, the one that we haven't seen yet. Spielen Sie Deutsch, par favor. Turrican. The Germans, deprived of the CPC at home, recognise the export potential for the format. Rainbow Arts, which brought us this month's spiffing X out, has a new project up its sleeve. The game Turrican was designed and initiated in Germany. It's been sent to England for the final stages of conversion. A multi-platform, multi-level, high-explosive romp, it has all the makings of something special. AMC. France isn't the only place where the CPC software is the biz. In Spain, Dynamic have been churning out class software for years. Army moves, Navy moves, game over, after the war, etc. Here are some snaps of the company's latest project, AMC. Ocean, an invitation to join the winning team. Don't delay if you're practiced in Z80, 6502, 8086 or 68000 assembly language, or have the creative ability to interpret visual images into computer graphics. This could be the career opportunity of a lifetime. CompuCo. Looking good. Some of the other delights in store for the French, and us too if any luck, aren't finished yet on the CPC, but they have been made ready on other formats. Here are some shots to get those joystick fingers waggling in anticipation. Just crazy about cars. Mention the name Titus, and most people will think of the company's famous racing games, Crazy Cars 1 and 2. Both were mold breaking and have become synonymous with French programming innovation. Crazy Cars 2 stunned the world with its overscanned screen, a technique which allowed Titus to use every single pixel on the monitor. Starting in 1985, the two bros, Hervé and Eric Kane, have built themselves an empire, no pun intended. It is founded on long, hard coding. The company isn't afraid to spend money in order to make money, though not on the regular licenses. It's invested primarily in CPC programming technology. And just look at the results. Eric, the programming specialist, explains, for the last 3 years, we've been using a processing emulator. It's a CPC without a Z80, opened up and linked to a Z80 emulator. This makes it a much more powerful machine and much more flexible. We can develop on it for any Z80-based machine, be it a CPC, Spectrum, or Sega. Using such technologies allows them to get more out of the machine than was previously thought possible. Fire and Forget 2. Trying to establish label identity in the UK, Titus has opted for a number of sequels. The first of them is Fire and Forget 2. Number 1 was a very fast and ultra-furious driving game, Blast 'em Up. And its relation looks like being even better. We've got screenshots of the Amiga version because it's further ahead in the programming schedule, but if the Kane coders are up to par, it's exactly the way the CPC will look too. There's also the jailbreaking Dark Century, which is expected any day now, so get ready for some crime-busting tank style. Bloodlust. Captain Blood has to be the most famous French game ever, and it's brought to us by Infogrames. The team has consistently churned out games that dazzled, amazed, and confused us, such as People's Saturday and Tintin on the Moon. Infogrames games are often noted more for the quality of coding than gameplay, Action Service being a prime example. The company has been quiet recently, but is planning to release Teenage Queen this summer. Interesting, if not wholly tasteful. I'm sure. Soft at heart. Ubisoft is one of the really big companies in France. It's split between distribution and software production. On the fun side, it was really only known for last year's Ace Pro Tennis Tour, a deserving rave winner if there ever was one, and which went on to sell almost 100,000 copies internationally. Ubisoft was able to grow thanks to the success of one CPC game, Feu et Flamme, way back in 1986, which in its lifetime sold over 20,000 copies in France. The company is now stepping up its operation internationally and is focusing on the UK as a major market. Amstrad 100% loved two of its games to death, Iron Lord and Defender of the Crown, categorizing them as typical French games. The trouble is, being incredibly deep arcade adventures, Iron Lord needs 2 discs, they take an awfully long time to translate into English. If ever. Screenshots, 5 games here. Number 1, Mystical by Cryo, Virgin France. A vertically scrolling cartoon caper. It's by the same guys who brought us Purple Saturn Day. X Days, working title only, also by Cryo, a development of the brilliant Brain Bowler game in PSD. It looks to have that elusive simplicity that makes a game so playable. Tennis Cup, Loriciel, a tennis game that features split-screen action to allow real 2-player games. It should hopefully be here in time for Wimbledon. Number 4, Super Squeak. You can't see anything in that screenshot. But Loriciel, the thing with the paintbrush is back, and this time he's brought his girlfriend. Squeak returns with even more features, including 2-player mode. And Hurricane, Loriciel, based on the famous, could have fooled me, snowmobile cross-country race in Canada. Where's Loriciel covering it? It's Bossman's taking part. Oh, that's why. These screenshots vary in format, but they will be appearing on the CPC shortly. Maybe. I know about Hurricane. Don't think X-Days does. The others do. I have to check that out at some point. But definitely Mystical, Tennis Cup and Super Squeak do get released. More French stuff. Amstrad 100% could be claimed to be the world's leading CPC title, after AA of course, with regular circulation of some 50,000, the last on the CPC scene in France. It took this vast market by storm. The reasons for the success? Well, it's obvious really. "100%'s dynamite. Amstrad's 10% magazine holds annual awards for the year's best software, and they carry as much weight as the Oscars over there. The following are CPC's awards for 89. Best Arcade Action, Double Dragon. Well, no one's perfect. Best Arcade Adventure, Barbarian 2. Best Adventure, Iron Lord. Best Arcade Conversion, Double Dragon. Yeah, it is again. They must have been playing the Richard Appleton version. Best Film License, Robocop. In fact, it would be, because that was the disc version, if I remember correctly. Best Film License, Robocop. Best Simulation, Airborne Ranger. Best Sports Simulation, Skateball. Best Reality Strategy, Defender of the Crown. Special Awards, Innovative Programming, Titus for its overscan techniques. Loriciel for variety and quality of product. Palace Software, Games of the Decade for Cauldron, Sorcery, Barbarian 1 and 2. Happy birthday, Maxam. Public domain, free for all. Fed up with boring old basic? Want to know how you can sample the delights of other languages without having to spend lorry loads of loot on expensive packages? Jerry Glenwright knows exactly where to go. Oh boy, he's COBOL. Want to program in COBOL? This version is fully documented and available from Wikipedia Library. So Pascal even. And basic extensions. Doing the boardwalk. Public domain software is cheap, right? For the price of a disk and copying, you can have access to some excellent applications, utilities, games, and languages. But there's a way to bypass even the minuscule copying and disk charges and save even more cash to spend on peripherals for your groovy CPC. How? Bulletin boards! These are the electronic equivalent of a standard pinboard. You find it to exchange notices and information at school, college, and work. If you have a modem, the black box of bits necessary to access for access to these boards, and a telephone line, then you have the means to get your PD software and the Amstrad Action typins for that matter, entirely, utterly, completely free, gratis, and for nothing. Well, almost. You do pay for the phone call. Many of the current PD libraries springing up around the UK started their collections by downloading, i.e. transferring across the telephone lines, electronic skipfuls of public domain software. Remember, it's all free before the phone call charge, and that can be next to nothing if you're wise and restrict your adventures to the airways to evenings only. Cast an eye over our Where to Go box for some useful telephone numbers. So helpline. Has anyone got a copy of AA39 or the Player's Guide to the Gnome Ranger Part 1 from it? Good price paid. 13, 14, 15-year-old pen pal needed. Get contact with other 464 users. Needs to be in the London area. Help needed on Treasure Island Dizzy and pokes wanted for Operation Thunderbolt. Software City. Action test. We finally got to the games. Oh. What a corking month. Castle Master, Dr. Doom, and X-Out. All in one go. Freescape strikes again. Join the desperate hunt to save your twin from the evil magister of Castle Master. Fight ghosts, explore catacombs, and find you sister before sunup. An incentives cheese-eating spectacular on page 46. Raboart's undersea shootout, X-Out, is finally here. It's a fan of... Is it a big fish or a minnow? See page 50 for the net result. Kung Fu capers in the sumo crowd in Firebird's Oriental Games. Does AA give or get a kicking? Leap to page 60 to use to see the bruises. Oh no. Puffy's Saga rolls into page 59. Another cutesy spectacular, or just a load of ball as Ubisoft stakes their what? Makes the Brit connection. Okay. We got a thing on Dr. Doom's Revenge. Find the traps and solve the riddles, but watch out for ghosts. You gotta watch out for the ghosts. Also reviewed, American Turbo King Laser Squad Expansion Kit, Billy the Kid, F-15 Fighting Falcon, Enterprise, Resta Runner, Maze Mania, Hopping Mad, Psycho Hopper. Well, the first game of the night is Dr. Doom's Revenge by Empire, $9.99 cassette, $14.99 disc, joystick or keys. Latveria is an Eastern European nation ruled by the iron fist of one man, Dr. Doom. A twisted scientific and criminal genius has stolen the ultimate weapon, a C4VG thermonuclear missile. Let the world beware of Dr. Doom's Revenge. Two men stand in his way, two of the greatest heroes ever to walk the earth, Captain America and the incredible Spider-Man. What was the amazing Spider-Man? Never before in the lore of comics have so few tried to stop the evil of so many in the face of such outrageous odds. You see, to ensure his plot succeeds, Doom has enlisted the cream of supervillainy: Rhino, Machete, Oddball, the Grey Gargoyle, and friends. The stage is set for an epic struggle with the very fate of the world hanging in the balance. Cap and Spidey have followed the trail of the stolen missile to Doom's fortress and must break in to destroy it. Each room of the castle is occupied by a different foe, a villain or a robot, who must be encouraged into submission by a shield in the face or web to the body. Comic book pages flash on the screen as the story unfolds, with CA being the first to do battle. His route takes him up against Doom's security droids first, battle more than target practice for the shield and fists. It's straight head to head, and you can find out how good superheroes really are. Captain America's, and Spidey's for that matter, moves very according to the distance from the guy they want to stave in. The 3 different distances multiplying your options for knocking out these foolish fellows. Each move at each range has its uses against very particular villain. Rhino is the first famous victim. This radioactive dump truck is dangerous and can blow you out in a matter of a few hits, but he's also slow and real stupid. A few smart acrobatic tumbles upon has the incredible bulk facing the wrong way and begging for a shield in the mush. Dick and the comic pages hit the screen once more, this time detailing Spider-Man's fate. Your friendly neighborhood wall crawler also warms up on a robot, but his task is made easier with his web shooters and the ability to hide on the ceiling. Even the bots of Atomic Pole Drover can't harm him there. It's just a matter of biding your time, then dropping and bopping. The next man on the hit list for old web features is Machete, a terrorist turned mercenary who has a disturbing fondness for razor-sharp swords. Machete is a real sucker for the webs, but Spider-Man has only a limited number of shots for the whole game. So the battles involving Webhead have an extra dimension, where you must try to balance web economy against staying alive, all while beating the other guy to a pulp. Tense is too small a word for it. Once Machete is KO'd, then its more comic pages flick up and Cap is back in action. He's had a breather and is a little healthier than before, but needs all the help he can get for his next foe, Zarin. A dart-throwing nutter, Zarin is much more mobile than Rhino, and while not trying to pin CA down with his missiles, he tries to punch his star-spangled lights out. The rest of the Doom crew are an even more impressive bunch. Batroc, Boomerang, Dr. Doom, Electro, Grey Gargoyle, Hobgoblin, Eduardo Lobo, Oddball, and Rattan. All with a special skill and a deep dislike for anyone who rights wrongs for a living. The game relies on its initial impact on the graphic quality of the 2 stars of this fight night. Both Spider-Man and Captain America are true to their Marvel roots. The sprites are brilliantly drawn and move the way only men who wear tights for a living could. Cap twists into realistically unnatural positions when fighting and throwing his shield, while a friendly neighborhood web spinner hangs onto the ceiling looking desperately from side to side in a thoroughly authentic manner. The rest of the sporting cast, villains and backgrounds alike, are colourful and move well and fast, if not always smoothly. They even go some way into letting the audio department off the hook for the pitiful sound effects. All combat games need close infighting action to succeed, and Dr. Doom is the real edge of the keyboard stuff. The flexibility of the fighting moves and the variety available will help the game live up to the expectations you have of real superheroes. 3 levels of difficulty take you from a tough game to one which is nearly impossible. You have to rely on instinct every time a new room is reached and a new villain faced, a villain whose abilities and weapons are unknown. It may look simple, being a superhero relying on special powers to see you through, but remember, the guys you have to beat up on have superpowers too, and don't relish the prospect of imminent concussion. Paragon Software have done a superb job in bringing 2 classic characters to life. They move and fight exactly as their artists first intended. The game essentially appears to be a little more than a Street Fighter clone, with repeated battles on different screens against various opponents. However, the whole project is bound up with the superhero magic that's embodied by Marvel. If you've ever even just flicked through a Spider-Man comic, then this game will get its hooks into you real quick. First, you want to play out being CA or the Wallcrawler when you feel the irrepressible need to teach those villains a heavy lesson. But be warned, it ain't easy being a caper. Enough said. First day target score beat Zaran. Singed opinion. Just another beat 'em up with an added attraction of the Marvel cartoon characters. If you're a fan of the comics, then you may go for this. But as far as I'm concerned, it has little to offer. Green screen. Blue on blue means occasional eye strain. Anything else to read up here? We've got the Rogues Gallery. Captain America. Steve Rogers, once an everyday GI, was transformed by a secret medical experiment during the Second World War. It gave him super strength and agility as it turned him instantly from the 8-stone weakling into the 240-pound super patriot Captain America. He fought a secret war against the Nazis until he was trapped in ice a few days before its end by the Red Skull. The Avengers found his frozen body and brought him back to life in recent times to join them in their struggle against crime. Spider-Man. Peter Parker was your average everyday college science genius. One night, he was working in the lab. He exposed the spider to an unprecedented dose of radiation. The spider then promptly bit him. With radioactive venom swirling around his veins, he found he had the powers of a huge spider. He could climb walls, had incredible strength, and a heightened instinctive awareness of danger. He designed a costume and web shooters and touted himself as a masked vaudeville act. That was until the murder of his uncle turned him into the legendary crime fighter we know today. Alright, the verdict. Graphics 93%. Real superhero stars. An arsenal of fighting images? Okay. Sonics 1%. Oh, so that's a sound effect. Grab factor 67%. An instant hit for comic fans. A curiosity for others. Staying power 81%. A rogue's gallery of foes. Very tough to beat on the easy level. AA rating 80%. A comic classic. Alright, let's get started then. Finally get to the game. What? I missed the letter. Okay. Alright. Amazing Spider-Man and Captain America and Doctor Doom's Revenge. English, French, Deutsch, Espanol. English, please. Spider-Man, Captain America, Doctor Doom, Machete, Batroc, Rhino, Hobgoblin, Boomerang, Oddball, Grey Gargoyle, Mysterio, Manwolf, and the Incredible Hulk, and the distinctive likenesses thereof are trademarks of the Marvel Entertainment Group, Inc., and are used with permission. Copyright 1989, Marvel Entertainment Group, Inc., all rights reserved. The Amazing Spider-Man and Captain America and Doctor Doom's Revenge is produced under license from the Marvel Entertainment Group, Inc. Press any key. Spidey has a limited number of webs that he can shoot. Right above his health bar is a web bar that shows how many webs he currently has. Spidey will not regain any webs as the game progresses, so use them wisely. Please press fire. The Amazing Spider-Man and Captain America and Doctor Doom's Revenge. Select skill level. Conversion for Empire by Bedrock Software. Copyright 1989, Paragon Software. Beginner, hero, superhero. We've got beginner. Oh, that's right. We've got the copy protection bit here. Peter Parker's eye are. Well, he's only got one eye. Blue, aquamarine, green, or hazel. Go with blue. Wrong. Bye bye. Oh. Okay. I guess I'm gonna have to get the manual. When I was testing this, I was able to actually guess the answers. So we'll get the manual just to be sure. Alright, hopefully there is a manual though. French, okay. Here's one. Superhero Handbook. Okay, let's try this again. Speed this up. Okay, what is Gargoyle's height? They actually have this. Oh, yeah, they do have stats here. Oh, Spider-Man's eyes are hazel, apparently. So, we're looking for Gargoyle. Right. Gargoyle's height. It's in here somewhere. Oh, yes, Grey Gargoyle. His height is 5'11". Right. Where was Electro born? Well, I have the same question as Endicott, New York. Right. Didn't need it after all. Alright. Now we get to play the game. Now that we've dealt with copy protection. Cap arrives at Doctor Doom's castle. A robot guards the entrance. Cap encounters Rhino. Oh, here we go. Shoot it. And again. And again. And again. Okay, you're just going to stand there shooting things. That's fine with me. Yeah, these are sound effects, alright. Catch! Oh, you followed me. Hey! Oh, it's one down. We're going to see that again. Cap encounters Rhino. Whee! We're dying. Yeah, Cap just stands there while he throws it. Gotta wait for it to come back. Cap might be done. Cap's dead. New York and the superheroes failure. That does not look right. But probably accurate. Do it again. Yeah, Cap encounters Rhino. Let's try to beat him this time. This kind of works. Let's stick out that leg. So it's a move Captain America does all the time. Oh, you in backwards? Here we go. while Spidey looks for a way in. Goodbye, you animated scrap pile. As Machete lurks, what have I got myself into? There you go, yeah, right up there. Yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah, kick him in the shins. Works every time. I'm sure it looks like it's connecting. Yeah, it's a jump kick apparently. There will be more surprises before I meet Doom. Heads up, Yank. Zarin attacks. Cap faces Batroc, his arch nemesis. Arrgh, Zam. Oh, second disc. He just ducks that, huh? Okay. Oh, no, dead. Captain America's dead. Yeah, the superheroes failures. Side A. Yeah, that's That's Doctor Doom's Revenge. We'll move on. It's about as far as I've gotten on it. Alright, next game is Castle Master by Don't Market Incentive. $9.99 cassette, $14.99 disc, joystick keys. Who would be silly enough to wander around a spook-filled castle armed only with a catapult? Anyone whose twin has been kidnapped would be the easy answer, and that's the task that awaits you in Castle Master, the latest freescape thriller from Incentive. A very dodgy legend has it. I call 13 pages the worst poetry since Pammy is pretty dodgy. That an evil magician called Magister hangs out in Castle Eternity. There he sits, plotting the downfall of mankind and gloating over his good fortune at the introduction of the poll tax. This, however, isn't enough to keep him quiet, and he's spirited away your twin. You can play either the brother or sister, and they have different skills to one of the towers. And if they are going to see another sunrise, you'd better get into rescue mode, like now. The only weapons you've got when you arrive at the dark and dangerous castle are your wits and a few rocks. Which is okay, because everyone knows even the biggest, meanest ghosts in the world flee in terror at the first sign of pebbles. Okay, maybe not. Undeterred, you would prepare for the adventure that's about to begin. A quick stroll around the castle serves to remind you of two things. Firstly, how smart the world of Freescape is, with all its smooth-moving 3D landscapes and buildings, and secondly, how darn sly those incentive bods are. Round the back, you can find a large boulder that apparently does nout, don't believe it though, and the wizard's hut, which is conveniently locked. So it's back to the drawbridge in time to bring a brick up to that funny white box on the left. Switching into aim mode, just line up the cursor up and throw. Boff! Mind you not standing too close to that drawbridge when it comes down, or you'll find your nighties a tad shorter than they were a few seconds before. Fat and dead is a better description. Remember that this is Freescape, the land where the scenery hurts. A quick scurry into the courtyard and you know the game's afoot. There are buildings to explore and towers to climb in the bid to find the sibling. There's one major improvement though that experienced Freescapers have been crying out for. Now you can touch things. Before, there are only two ways to do things: shoot them or step on them. In Castle Master you can actually get to action things, but only, of course, when you're within arm's reach. So if you accidentally brush against the door, for which you've got a key, and didn't want to open it immediately, then nothing happens until you action the door and bring the key into play. A big part of Castle Master are the spirits. These little devils have a nasty habit of generating strength through the game. If you don't top enough of them, then their combined power will tip the spirit level, grow, in their favour, and as good night ladies. These ghosts pop up in many of the castle's rooms, and so be quick on the draw with that catapult if you want to keep the strength up to a reasonable level. The main objects of your search, apart from your sis, are keys and potions. Keys allow you to enter locked areas, and potions give you fun abilities such as stone travel, which allows you to catapult yourself about the place through windows and the like. Keys are always specific for certain doors, and that nice, if sometimes evil magician has labelled them all for you so you know which keys do what. He's also left little messages telling exactly what each room is, which doesn't give the game away, but it does help in the mapping. The Freescape is better this time than ever before. It's faster, smoother, and less glitchy, making it easier to spot those objects that are only just in view. The sound effects are the normal rudimentary selves, just bleeps and bangs, but you don't really need them, because it's a graphical feast for the eyes first and foremost. The game plays like a real adventure, but none of this text-only nonsense. Actions have visible results, and this makes it more immediate and more dangerous. Saving the game every time something is achieved is a must if you want to avoid going out of your tree with frustration. Initially, it doesn't seem to be as much to do here as in Total Eclipse, but the whole style of the game is different. With four separate towers that are only occasionally linked, it's also the least friendly Freescape game to date, which may put off the uninitiated as they spend steaming hours wandering the maze-like catacombs. Veterans of Driller and beyond will simply take it as a personal challenge, laid down by the boys and girls from Aldermaston. A classic exercise in Freescape, it's not as breathtaking as the previous outings, simply because it's now been seen before. But until Bloodwitch makes it out of the gates of Castle Mirrorsoft, it has the park to itself and 3D adventure stakes. Incentive have continued to hone its very special style, creating total games that require thought, luck, and good joystick control to see you through. For manual that gives instructions, hints, and tips through its epic poem. The game's a complete package. Hours of intense gaming are guaranteed, but the frustration that always accompanies such games is it's hard to say it's fun. Well, it's fun when you've beaten the castle, but an irritating compulsion until then. Remember, keep your guard up and spirits down, or there'll be trouble. First aid target score 1,000,000 points. But is it art? The clue pod for Codemasters takes the form of an epic poem. Now for everybody about to be plunged into the nightmare that is an English exam, cast your peepers on this. If you thought Chelsea was vague and hard to decipher, just cop this. Dare not snare or turn aside. I hold no portal yawning wide. For sibling scum with dribbling gum. Don't struggle, I'm your guide. At last the fortress worthy of his name, from whence to tame man's wilful spirit once again. Magister stretched his sphere and pulsed his brain, then woke the rested storms to rise and aim and maim. We don't think Bill Shakespeare's got much to worry about. Are you a castle master? Hokey dokey, get those pencils sharpened and those brains in gear. AA has a large pile of unmarked, non-sequential, crisp, crinkly blue ones sitting on Rod's desk, just waiting to be won by the best castle master mapper. Send in your entries ASAP, and the first one out of printable standards to hit our mailbox will appear in a future cheat mode. Second opinion. Well, I have to admit I'm not a huge Freescape fan, but I'm also not a fan of swords and sorcery, wizards and castles. I think I'll stick with Total Eclipse. The big slab in the corner is a ghost. Kill it now. Okay. Look, there's a ballroom. Is this some kind of sick joke? The ballroom. Look at it. Soccer ball room. And the verdict, graphics, 95%. Solid 3D strikes again. The best Freescape to date. Sonics, 5%. No music, too few effects. Grab factor, 88%. Getting into the castle's a cinch. But where do you begin? Staying power, 94%. A huge game, 4 towers, 1 sibling, and masses of spooks. Save game facility makes it finishable. AA rating, 91%. A true castle master game. Huh. Okay. Castle Master. In English, French, and Deutsch. Press return. Select the character you wish to play and press return. What's the prince? I don't know how much difference it makes. Press any key. Yep, sure that's what it sounds like. Oh yeah, I've got to redefine these keys again. See, these clash with the cursor keys, which move too fast. Well, is that boulder? I wonder what the action key is. I have no idea. Apparently something behind the castle. Oh, look at this little hut. Oh, there's the door. Door locked. Oh. Well, back to the front of the castle. Okay. Drawbridge with a convenient open button. So we've got something here. Over here. Is this locked too? Door's locked. We've got doors for each tower, I guess. Anything behind here? Oh! There's a door at the back. There's a back door. Smithy. Is there a way down? Oh, I am on the ground. I thought it was in there, like in the ear or something. Oh, I'm using the wrong keys again. Alright, U is still U-turn. So use, not use. I'm going to look up the manual just quickly. I want to see what the action key actually is. I was going to spend too much time thinking about that. Puzzle Master. Mouse controls. Keyboard controls. Shift the left to right, turn left to right 80 by 90 degrees. Okay. A is action. Will eat, drink, read, push, move, click, examine, open, unlock, or use as appropriate. Okay. A is action key. Gee, that's so obvious. Not so obvious. No effect. No effect. Okay. It's going to be based on your... based on your cursor then. No effect. See a well here? It's a flag. Try shooting that and apparently ghosts appear that you can't see. Okay, let's check around here in the back of this building. Tendril. Whatever it is. Is there a door here? Oh, there's a door right there. Oh, chapel. No effect. I can use U-turn. Shift left to right work here? Yeah, it does. That's good. It's quicker. Let's go over to this tower. See what's in here. Hot baths. We got a swimming pool here, complete with diving board. It's a thing I saw in medieval times. I guess our prince fellow does not. He's not able. Ooh, switch. I guess we have to action it, do we? And the pool is emptied. Anything down there? Oh, there's a door down there. Alright. Let's go into it then. Go over these stairs and not fall in. I'd say that would probably be bad. Kevin. Uh-oh. That was the ghost. That was a ghost. Well, I lost about half my strength. That was fun. Catacombs. Right, got a maze here, have we? Where have we come out? We're lost in here for ages, aren't we? dead end. Overshoot the wall. Nothing. Okay. Back into the catacombs we go. Time to get lost again. Nothing. Out of reach. Yeah, can't get to that. I have to crouch, huh? Crawl selected. So how do I get up from crawling? Walk selected. Okay. W and C. Obvious. It should be obvious. Down here. Smash. I don't know what that did. That's just you two. Alright. There's a door over here. Dead end. Door this way. I am lost. Oh, I don't know that bit. we have been here. Because I've completely forgotten where I've been. That's right, it was here, wasn't it? We came in. So... question is, how do we get out of here? Oh, why do you have to find catacombs so early? We're back here again. Yeah. Can we quit? We ever quit? Pause buttons, don't we? Oops, it's a cool button. Oh, crawl. Okay, under here. Walk. Oh, we're back here again. This is a dead end. That's a dead end. Turn. Oh, that's the way we came in there. I'm so completely lost. Oh, there we go. I for the screen. Keys collected 0. So yeah, we can quit. Yeah, we'll get out of here. Bonk. Let's try again. See, it's somewhere else. There's 4 towers to go through, so look at another one. It'll probably go straight to the catacombs again or something stupid. Probably go down the well too, I guess. Let's go over to this. No, what we do? Go over here. This tower. Oh, there's no door on that tower, huh? Alright, we'll go to this tower. It's a ghost. It's a ghost. It's a ghost here. There it is. So is that a key, I guess? It looks key shaped. Key found. For stairwell, lobby. Oh, this is the lobby. Door opens. Oh. Oh, look, steps. There's the steps, I'm sure. Uh, 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 Look at that. Is that supposed to be a torch? Good. Supposed to be torches. Hospital. This castle has a hospital. With a ghost in it, apparently. Yep. Hospital. Checks out. When my face is drained, I stare down open-mouthed. Okay. What is that supposed to mean? What's over here? Oh, there's a basement apparently too. Oh, it's catacombs. Never mind. Okay, so at least we know there is a way out of the catacombs. Oh, this is a stairwell, huh? Goes on, goes around, and it goes up again. This is like a good tower. More torches. It's a chair. Ooh. What's this gonna say? The pointed eye of heaven sees all once overlooked. Okay. Shoot the chair. There's nothing. Some books. I wonder if we can read these. No effect. No effect. Out of reach. Oh! That would work better if there were more actual books on the bookshelf. Dragon's Hoard. It's going to be safe to open this. Can we open it? Choose a chest. Need right key. Oh. We need a key. Can we use the chair? No effect. We're in the library. This is a library. Look how many books there are in this library. Someone's checked out all the books. Except for these three. Said something. Help me, help me. Something to shoot somewhere. Where is it? 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 It's on the floor. It's a still thing. It is apparently. What have we got here? No effect. Can we shoot it? No. The carpenters. No effect. No effect. Stores. Potion for strength. Yeah, you got strength back. What is this? There's going to be another note here that makes absolutely no sense. The place of the word of the Lord must be truly understood. If you say so. What passage? This is where it came in, wasn't it? Ghost! This is the Great Hall. Crawl selected. Undead. Another passage. So all these passages, they all look the same. Uh-oh, ballroom. The ghost. Look at this ballroom. They're trying to be funny. Should it? No. This is a locked door, is it? Can we unlock it? Door 2. Guard room. Need right key. Guess not. Oh, off we go. Back the way we came. back the way we came. Out of reach. Oh, there's a saw here. Arg! Okay. Okay. Set the stairwell. Up we go further. Help me, help me! Help me, help me! There's another passage. Barracks. A louse crawls faster, a mole crawls deeper, but a worm crawls very well. Good. It looks like a hospital. Still locked, is it? Door 2. High ledge. Need right key. Through we go to... Ooh. Oh! More strength! In the ballroom again. Oh, is there no door here? Oh, okay, there's a door here. It just opens up. Off we go. Presses the locked doors again. Corridor. This is a corridor. Door 2. Junk room. Need right key. Door 2. King's Solar. Need right key. Okay. Well, I think I've been at this long enough. This is... Right, so we'll be playing this for ages. Just like the other Freescape games. You could be at it for a while. But we'll move on. Get a few more games in. Next game. Look, more detail electronics. Next game is X Out. By Rainbow Arts. $9.99 cassette, $14.99 disc, joystick keys. In the darkest reaches of inner space, deep beneath the waves, a lone submariner is struggling to stop a disaster. A disaster that has big bug eyes, lurid green scales, and is looking for lunch. X Out is the first of a new wave of underwater shoot 'em ups, one where the aliens have got bored of flying through space just to get fried, but decided to take a dip instead. The core game is a scrolling firefight through undersea caves, killing so many slime-featured creatures that it's easier to weigh the carcasses than count the points. The locations include ice caves and volcanoes, and as the playing area is 3 screens high, the right path is often less than obvious. Wave after wave of aquatic exotica glide towards you, firing away, and you've got to blow them in. Got to blow them. Got to blow them in. Oh, fin from fin. Okay, get it. Got to blow them fin from fin, while keeping well clear of the walls. Throw in some gun meltingly hard and. Oh, sorry. Throw in some gun meltingly hard mid and end of level nasties, and you know you're in onto a good, if not altogether safe thing. That, however, is only half the story, and the best of X Out comes first. In extraordinary shoot 'em ups, you only get to power up with special weapons as the stage progresses, whereas here you get these power ups right at the off. The game opens in an underwater arms and sub dealers. Well, we are given the choice of all the firepower a growing psycho killer could wish for. First, you choose a ship. There are 4 basic models, each with differing attributes. The cheaper it is, the fewer weapons it can carry. But the more you can afford, 9 being the maximum, then you get down to the heavy business of weapon selection and positioning them on the craft. Everything from basic shot strength to the number and style of protective satellites you carry is changeable, and of course, certain combinations are better for certain sections. More shops follow en route, where you can spend all those lovely points you've earned getting there. All of the weapons on offer, the ones you can't refuse, are the drone satellites. Once placed on the ship, they fly in predetermined patterns set by you. Handy if you happen to know attacks will come from a set direction on the next stage. And there are some fun, if illogical, little flame numbers. The fire claws squeeze together, frying all in between, while the flamethrower sends a blast far ahead of you. Energy walls and missiles are also available, just to add a little more space. These innovations would all be in vain if the graphics couldn't deliver, but you've no worries there. One of the major reasons for an early death is stunned in action due to the array of enemies, their quality, and the vast number flitting towards you at any one time. And no matter how frantic the action gets, they just don't slow down. The graphics may be wonderful, but the sound isn't so great. You're limited to the usual ongoing spot effects as you wade into another batch of aliens, but that's your lot. The ships move fast, which is just as well, as everything goes critical real quick. The drone ships are initially off-putting, causing more death than they prevent, but once further into the level they cease to be a luxury and become a necessity. Some special weapons too can cause confusion, as they need extra key commands to activate. Shootouts need some magical spark to set them ahead of the pack. X-Out's ship designer system is just such inspiration. It allows you to experiment and reorientate the whole scenario by using different outrageous strategies. How far can a ship with no armor get? What's the most devastating arsenal you can assemble on a big ship? When this level of tactical planning is applied to a fast and furious firefight, then it's obvious you're in for a treat. Dip into the briny with X Out and get into some serious laser-powered destruction. You may be outnumbered, but you'll never be outgunned. First aid target score, complete level 1. Second opinion, how do they make it so colourful and so fast? The best shoot 'em up I've seen for a long, long time. Green screen, a waste of great colour, but playable. The big bad beastie at the end of the level goes topless. The enemies come in all shapes and sizes. Shoot that snake rider. Level 2 pretties are even more dangerous. Right, the verdict. Graphics 90%. Whole armies of varied and fast-moving sprites. Massive level guardians. Sonic 61%. Standard effects. Grab factor 94%. Never so few ships had so many guns. Designer system is great fun. Staying power 81%. Loads of levels. Fiendishly hard to complete. AA rating 86%. Most innovative shoot 'em up for yonks. For yonks. Alright. X out. Ah. Welcome to X out. Hit that button. I think actually what I'll do now is I'll restore the keys here. Okay. So this is our ship designer. Take a ship out of there. I've got to figure out what each of these do. I think you can sell these again, and you get your money back plus some more. It sort of breaks the game a bit. I'm not sure how you do that. Oh, it gives you extra life. Does it give you more lives, does it? Interesting. Cannot afford that. Okay, yeah, I see. Do another one of these. They only appear there, do they? Oh, it starts the game. Let's go. Press fire. Go. Oh. Oh, that game's moving fast, even. Oh, jeez. I lost half my life already. I think it's my second one that is the... It's my second one that is the... Towing whistle! Don't touch anything that looks like ground. Ow. Alright. We've got missiles. laser. Ow. I'm showing I'm heading in the right place. Oh, yep. I've got this dude. Okay. That was the first. That's the mid boss. Oh, game over. Back on the Excel. Hit that button. We'll do this all again. This thing again. What else do we have here? Okay. So how do we move things? This goes on to the next, right? Let's see how this works. Down shots. That's handy. Let's do it again. Oh, she's at me. I've got to keep moving somehow. We can shoot the lasers, which helps. Oh, That generator. Don't go there, in other words. Alright. Use this chip. A down shot again. What does this do? So how do we? How do we sell things? I want to see if this is broken as I hear it is. Let's look at the manual. That'll tell me, won't it? Look at the manual in every damn game today. X out. In the game. Prehistory. In the year 2019. Oh boy. The future. Fire button. Pressing briefly activates a normal shot. Pressing longer the primary weapon system. Let's see 64. After CPC and Spectrum, QAOP is smooth here. Put a space, triggering a normal shot. Triggering the primary weapon system by pressing longer. C is choosing the secondary weapon system. M is triggering the secondary weapon system. H is pause. G is bringing in the drones. Shop. Choosing among weapons. Underneath there is the mill up a creature highly qualified for steering star gliders. He's taking a temporary job as trash utilization plant. Don't want an already installed part of your starship. The whole ship, you can give it to Molib and you'll get your money back. See. Student alien technician who looks after the weapons. Bottom right corner your score which server says it means the payment is displayed. Underneath is the Molib. Temporary job of trash utilization. You don't want to. You can give it to the Molib and he'll get your money back. That's what it says. It doesn't really give you any. I don't know how this works then. Assume it's give it here. So how do we get to them though? Because I can't really select these. Oh, I just bought that, huh? So how do we select them then? Check this again. That does not want to do anything. Come on, you can do it. It's only a text file, come on. Alright, load the PDF then. Well, it's in German first. I suppose it makes sense, it's a German game. So, don't get it. All operations in the shop can be either be executed by mouse or by joystick. So yeah, you should just. I would have thought you'd just be able to pick it up and trash it, but no. No, off we go. See what we got. Three of these things. Don't go through walls. It's a bad idea. Ow. Oh, jeez. Ow. Almost dead again. Oh, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. Don't go up there. Huh. Okay. See how this goes. This is supposed to be the. How do we take these things to it? Can we start now? Here we go. Alright. What do we get? Can we get past stage 1? What a down shot again. Ah! There's like a 30 life. Ah, some more. Ah! Oh! Ow! Jeez, I did so much damage. Ow! That was just hard to avoid that. Yeah, that was just hard to avoid damage. Oh, one more go. How do I take to it? So you can't. No idea how that works. Oh, whatever. Let's go. Charge shot. We got charge shots. Oh. 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 Help way too quickly. Come on, I didn't hit it. Game over. Yeah. Okay, so that's a charge shot. Anyway, that'll do for that. We'll move on. 11 o'clock. We'll do one more game. It's about 10, I think, in this issue. 10 or 11 games. So get one more in. So next game. Oh, probably not looking at this game because this is an expansion kit for Laser Squad. I've already played Laser Squad. Don't really want to get into it. But anyway, Laser Squad Expansion Kit 2 by Target Games. £4 cassette, £6 disc, joystick keys. Remember Laser Squad? Master game from AA49? Well, it's back with a vengeance. For those who don't know, Laser Squad is a war game that concentrates on small-scale skirmishes. You're put in command of a small unit of troops typically between 5 and 10 men, with instructions to carry out a mission. With limited cash resources, you must buy armor and weapons, juggling your figures to come up with the best combination. Once kitted out, it's into the fray, running around the battlefield, vying for tactical position and blasting the enemy with futuristic hardware. The game works via a series of turns. On your turn, you can perform actions such as moving men, picking objects, and firing. Each unit is allocated a number of action points to carry out these activities. You must use them wisely. Running out of action points in the middle of a wide open space is not a good idea. 3 different scenarios accompanied the original Laser Squad. Also available at the time of release was Expansion Kit 1, adding a couple of additional games. The disc version of Laser Squad included all 5 scenarios. Now Target Games has released Expansion Kit 2, with a pair of brand new scenarios to test your tactical wargaming to the full. They'll need the original game disc to run it. The first of the new games is called the Star Drive. The Rebels have been working away on a powerful new fighter on their continuing struggle against the oppressive Federation. It seems that a bunch of mercenaries, known by the terrifying name of the Engineers, ALP, have nicked a vital component and taken it back to their underworld base. A platoon of squaddies, the 7th Brigade, are under orders to retrieve the Star Drive at all costs. They have to work their way through the robot-infested sewers beneath the city, which the Engineers call home. Once through the smelly sluices, the boys have to force their way into the hideout, find the device, and get back in one piece. The second scenario, Laser Platoon, involves all-out war between the Rebels and the Federation. Both sides have control of one half of a moon base. The objective is to take the other half. So important is the battle that both sides are drafting in as many men as possible, and reinforcements are beamed down to the combat zone at regular intervals. There's no surrender. Total elimination of the opposition is the only way to win. The Star Drive is one of the toughest Laser Squad scenarios to date. The Rebels have to move fast. The sewers really are robot infested. Destroy a robot and regenerates after a few turns. The Engineers can use this to their advantage, hiding out in strategic positions, ready to pick off the Laser Squad as they make their way across the map. Once arrived at the hideout, the Rebels have to force their way in, and the only way through is via a few security doors. Clue, a las cutter is a vital piece of equipment if there's any hope of completing this mission. Laser Platoon is a real bloodbath. The game is set up to last 255 turns, i.e. indefinitely, and the constant resupply of units means that you could be in charge of up to 10 men at once. Weapons and armor are dirt cheap, so you can equip yourself with autocannons, rocket launchers, and all the best hardware. Life too is cheap, and you'll find that tit-for-tat killings knock down the amount of troops you have at an alarming rate. The map is exactly symmetrical, with both sides in control of equal areas at the start of the game. The only way to win is total obliteration of the enemy, and that counts for both sides. The computer plays a good game in both scenarios, as with all Laser Squad games, though the real fun is to be had with the 2-player version. The computer opponent isn't that smart. The second game especially is brilliant and turns out to be a real massacre. Expansion Kit 2 makes a change from previous Laser Squad scenarios. It adds even more strategy and gameplay to a release simply oozing with the stuff already. If you don't have Laser Squad already, I advise to simply buy it. First aid target score captured the Star Drive on level 1. Second opinion, Laser Squad is like chess with guns. Against a human opponent is one of the classic games of our time. Green screen, a shame but not a tragedy. The verdict, graphics 85%, clear and uncluttered. Sonics 30%, fairly basic, but they let you know exactly what's going on. Grab factor 90%, the original scenario pinned you down a fraction quicker. Staying power 97%, these extra scenarios are big. AA rating 93%, 2 excellent additions to a game that was excellent already. Just screenshots. We'll move right on to the next game, which is Billy the Kid by Virgin Mastertronic, $1.99 cassette, joystick or keys. What better basics for a light gun game could there be than the exploits of ace gunslinger Billy the Kid? The game has 3 different stages. First, you try your hand at blasting innocent bottles and cans, getting their old shooting eye ready. Then, if you prove good enough, it's on to the bank robbery and gunfight with the sheriff. The bank job's simply a case of bopping people who are daft enough to put their heads above cover, annihilating the posse in a set time limit. The gunfight is a test of luck and speed. It only lasts for a few seconds, but it's the game's high point. As with all these new light gun games, there's the same game using joystick and keys on the flip side. This one's even bigger on keys because the slower cursor movement gives you less time to get shots off. A good fun budget, this game uses the light gun well and will make a great addition to any Magnum Psycho's cannon fodder collection. First aid target score, kill the first level sheriff. Second opinion, enjoyable Wild West romp, but a bit short on gameplay. Green screen, only 2 colours less. The verdict, graphics 55%, sonics 31%, grab factor 77%, staying power 61%, AA rating 64%. Okay. Well, we don't have light gun support, but you can play it on keyboard or joystick. So we'll do that. Alright. Okay. Billy the Kid. Beep. Billy the Kid. He looks a little worried about something. So that's a tall hat. Billy the Kid. Press fire to play. Oh, level 1. Shooting practice. Score 5,000 points to qualify. Oh, didn't get to that. Ah. Nice shooting. Bank robbery. Billy is trapped inside the bank. Okay. Review said shoot everyone. Oh, I'm out of ammo. Ow, ow, ow. Probably shouldn't mash the button when I do that, huh? Billy, back here. he had ammo on that second stage. Alright. Oh, you lose points for missing, huh? Billy is trapped inside a bank. Okay. The coast is clear. Showdown at high noon. Put the gun in your belt and on the count of 5. Oh, eat lead turkey. Okay, a little slow on that one. Not sure what to expect here, but at least the game's quick. Shooting practice. You lose 50 points if you miss. I don't know if that gives you more points or not. Guess I must do. Got 6,000 that time. Bank robbery. Billy is trapped inside a bank. The coast is clear. Showdown high noon. Put the gun in your belt and on the count of 5 paces. Back, turn and fire. Oh, well, okay, that moves quickly. That is quick. Try again. Nice shooting. Bank robbery. Ow. The coast is clear. You got me. Level 2. She presses 7,000 points to qualify. Uh-oh. Anything? Screwing me here. Screw me with a period of nothing. One more go. Shooting practice. 5,000 points to qualify. Oh shit, 9,700. Yeah. Coast is clear. You got me. Level 2. 7,000 points to qualify. Hit something. Oh, that's 7,000. Nice shooting. Bank robbery. Coast is clear. You got me. Level 3. 9,000 points. Oh boy. I missed it. Sure, there's the hitbox. I've got 9,000 at least. Nice shooting. Coast is clear. You got me. Shooting practice. 11,000 to qualify. Oh. This might be a little... God. Okay. God damn it. Game over. Well, it was fun while it lasted.